Thank you for being here. It's the ASCCA November main Zoom meeting. We're going to try and keep it to an hour today because you're all busy and I've got all sorts of things I've got to do as well. But let me start off.
This meeting starts at 2 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, well, we're definitely going to be finishing it at 1. So let us commence. Now, I wanted to start off by reminding you, I'm just going to share my screen here, that the ASCCA main meeting is now available to watch. Whoops, that's not the one. Where is, here we go, ASCCA's main meeting. So the conference is now available to watch at ascca.org.au. If you go there, you can see that that is the conference. We have the conference almost in full. NDN and the eSafety Commissioner didn't give us permission to replay their presentations, which is a shame. I'll see if I can organize it for next year. That, come on, guys, let us please play your presentation. But it doesn't matter. We still had a great conference. If you haven't seen it, please share it with other people that you know, seniors, people of any ages. We had Kamal opening the conference at 14 minutes and 15. We have all sorts of great presentations there. Max Markson from Mental Moments TV, Charlie Brown, Judy Young's Let's Make Music. We had a great session on the future of aged care at home from the CSIRO. And there's Jennifer Wilcox, the president of ASCCA, had a great session on how to leave a digital legacy. We had retirement planning, the competition winners, a great service called accessibletelecoms.org.au, which you should check out if you are looking for a smartphone or tablet or computer or apps that are they're good for people with disabilities or they're seniors. And go and have a look. It's a great site that's been updated with all the latest technologies. My closing keynote and more. And if you click on this link, it takes you into this presentation here. If you click on show more, then you can fast forward into any of the different segments just down there like that. So it's quite easy to do. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to show you, let me just click on this and go to a company called PopSockets. PopSockets make these cool little gizmos that attach to the back of your phone. I don't know if you can see me. I'm just going to hit stop there for a second. That's called a pop socket, and it attaches to the back of your phone. And the good thing about it is that it makes it very easy to hold large phones, because the fear that I have whenever I've got a phone is that you're going to drop it. And in fact, it's very important to make sure that when you get a case, that it has this little lip around the edge of the case that you can see there. So if it does fall, unless it falls into a rock, the glass doesn't actually impact the ground. But part of the problem with these pop sockets is that the glue used to be a lot less sticky. So you could easily peel it off and then stick it down the bottom, and you could have the phone standing on a table so you could do a FaceTime call with somebody. But in this configuration, you just put it on the table and it just sits there, and it's very good for being able to read emails or watch content. But because they made the sticky stuff on the back so sticky, because certain surfaces were just not sticking very well and the whole thing would come off, this causes a problem if you are trying to charge your phone wirelessly. And the wireless charging that is on any device, whether it's the MagSafe device that's got to stick right onto that spot, or just an Android phone with normal wireless charging you put onto a pad, it doesn't go through that. So PopSockets made a cool new device that is a removable pop socket. So you can see here, this one is a clip that just stretches out and goes onto the back of any smartphone. So here, for example, I have a Google Pixel 6 smartphone. I can just put that on the back there, and it's gripping quite nicely onto the edges that you can see there. And the good thing is that you can easily move it. You can just move it downwards like that and put it onto a table. So how much do these things cost? Well, normal pop sockets, you can buy them $5, $10, $15 from JB Hi-Fi or any of those little phone stores. They have fake ones that third party, not made by PopSocket. PopSocket are the best quality though. And if I go into this PopSocket website and I scroll down, well, I click up here onto, let me just move my picture of myself out of the way on my screen. If I go into the MagSafe, if I click on MagSafe, there's two different types of MagSafe grip. One is specifically for iPhones. You can see here that this is the back of an iPhone, and it's got this case on it. And this MagSafe connects to the circle of magnets that is on the back of an iPhone, but that's for iPhone only. If you haven't got an iPhone, then you can get one of these slide stretch white and clear grips. So there it is. There's the same one that I showed you, the $24.95, and definitely worth getting if you are ever worried about dropping your phone. I unintentionally drop my phone all the time because you get bumped or tripped or this or that, and they're very large. They're super large these days. So I really do like this. And the only thing to obviously watch out for is that you've got the buttons on the side of the phone. That on this Google Pixel 6 Pro, it's got a power button here and volume buttons there. Obviously, you do not want the case to be sitting over those buttons, but you can move it around to anywhere that you like. And I find that to be really handy. So definitely consider getting yourself one of those, even one of the regular ones. I mean, the way I get around this problem is that I just have more than one case. So if I need to put my phone onto a charger or into the car, on the little car thing, and this thing gets in the way, I just happen to have a second case. But if I had one of these at the time, I would just pull it down or take it off even, and problem solved. So I really am a fan of that. So next up, let's go back to the sharing screen. So just basically, I want to show you a bunch of new things. There's a company called Meredot, which has a thing called a wireless fueling station. And people have seen in their hometowns, they have these little scooters everywhere. And those little e-scooters, and you're supposed to wear a helmet, you pay, a few cents per minute of riding around. And it's actually getting cheaper and cheaper in price to buy new scooters. And maybe they're not the best thing for seniors because you sort of do need to keep your wits about you and you don't want to fall off the damn thing. But part of the problem with those particular scooters is that they run out of charge, and the company's got to send around a car to pick them up, take them back somewhere, charge them up again, and then and then take them back on the streets. And that's sort of why they took off a bit, but then people just sort of leave them around, and it's a big pain in the butt. So we're going to start seeing in our cities this wireless charging station. And this is let me just stop the sharing there for a second. Make sure when I do the share, I've got the audio on.
Mobility charging infrastructure.
Let's just start that again.
Meredot develops the world's first wireless charging technology to enable micro-mobility charging infrastructure. The transmitter station can be mounted on the ground, so it can be more easily integrated into micro-mobility infrastructure, such as parking docks or zones. The station is compatible with different types of scooters and supports fast charge power modes. And this is how it works. The rider places the scooter on the surface of the charging station and charging begins immediately. The primary coil in a wireless charging station generates an electromagnetic field. The secondary coil in the scooter then transfers the energy to the high-voltage battery pack efficiently and quickly, with a completely empty battery being fully charged within 2 hours. There are no cables or open electrical connections, therefore no possibility of electrical shock. With the use of durable materials, there is no risk of corrosion or other failures. The simplicity of the design and use of appropriate materials results in minimal maintenance and cross-platform utility that does not interfere with scoot manufacturer components. Fits for every clearance, parking position freedom, transmission through materials. Meredot Wireless Charging makes charging easier than a standard cable-based system. Meredot, for those who ride.
So this is going to be, it's been launched already. It'll be shown off at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. And yes, someone has to then roll this infrastructure out. But the good thing is that it can be underground. You can place it on top of the ground. The wireless charging can go through rain, hail, or snow, or intense heat. It can go from -20 to up to 50 degrees centigrade, where it can charge. You don't have to put the bike in a particular way or in a particular spot. You just put it on there, and it starts charging. And the makers say that it can be more environmentally efficient than wired charging. You'd think wired would be the best way to charge, but you do get electricity loss and also heat generated. And they say that their newest wireless systems are just as efficient or even more efficient than wired charging. So we might see a resurgence this decade of these scooter systems, installed into different cities, and they're good for intercity travel and also intra-suburb travel. So obviously you're not going to want to get on the M5 or the M1 and travel all the way long distances on this. Obviously there are problems with being able to transport more than one person. And you rarely see those tandem bicycles. You see them every now and then, but I mean, they're not a major feature. So I don't think you're going to start seeing tandem scooters anytime soon. But a car is 146 times heavier than this normal the normal scooter, and the 1 kilowatt hour of energy can provide 80 miles. I was reading on a scooter charge, and it's only 3 or 4 miles or so, just a few kilometers to power an electric car. We'll also see this kind of wireless technology that will be powering electric vehicles of the future. In the future, they'll just charge wirelessly. You won't have to find a Tesla station to plug it in. And it also heralds the day coming this decade when you'll be able to buy a smartphone that can be charged through a box in the house that looks like Wi-Fi. So it'll just be a box, and it'll send the energy through the air to your phone, as opposed to having to put it flat onto a wireless charger. I mean, just imagine if you had to get your laptop or tablet and stick it onto your router just so that you could get a wireless internet connection. I mean, that would be ridiculous. But that's how we treat wireless power today. But later this decade, and people have been working on it already for the past decade, and they haven't managed to commercialize it yet, or get it to send enough power to the phones, especially if you've got people walking through the place. But you will see devices that will get genuinely thinner and smaller, because instead of having a big battery that takes up most of the side of the phone, they just have a much smaller one, because just enough to give you power as you go in between your home or office where you have one of these systems. And obviously, if you need longer battery life, then there'll probably be battery devices. But you're going to see this over the next few years, and it's wireless power is going to be Nikola Tesla's dream from probably 100 years ago finally coming true. Okay, so next up, let's keep going. So the next thing is it's Black Friday. Today is Black Friday. So there's a lot of deals out there, and the ACCC has come out with a warning that says, please watch out for fake online deals and avoid scammers this sales season. And now they say that we've already lost about $12.9 million this year. There's been over 26,000 reports to about now for 2021, which is more than all of the scam reports through 2020. Obviously, there are lots of scam reports that don't get reported. People are embarrassed or don't realize they should report it. And, there'll be lots of Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales happening right now. So it's definitely worth double checking. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Check with a friend, check with your tech-savvy kids or a neighbor, check with somebody. Make sure that you're not just sending your money off, because you might get a fake product or the product might not appear at all. And at the moment, with global shipping delays, there can be warnings that things you might order them now, if they're coming from overseas, that might not arrive till early next year, because the Christmas crunch is always crazy. And of course, this year we still have 80% or 90% of the planes in the sky not flying. And the boats that are coming from China are packed to the brim, because you don't want to send a half-empty ship from China or from wherever to somewhere else when you could pack it full. So all this is slowing things down. It's also causing major delays at ports. And of course, we also have transport drivers from the courier companies who are occasionally striking because they fear they're going to be put out of a job in the future. It's already happened in Australia with Toll and FedEx and DHL and those sorts of people. So if you can buy something for Christmas and you can get it in, you can go with cash or credit card into a store and walk out of it and you've got it, that's the best way of doing it. And the other really important thing is that you've got to shop around. Choice has put out an alert just today, which is saying that does Black Friday really have the best deals? And they said their price check investigation shows that you can find bigger discounts at other times of the year. So just because it's Black Friday, just because it's a sale, doesn't mean anything. There's a gimbal, which I don't have with me now, but it's something that you stick your phone into. And, if you're moving around, it keeps the phone steady. It's called a gimbal, and it's got motors inside. And there's one called the DJI OM5. That's the latest model. And it's $289. And everywhere that I look online, there's no sale. That's the price that it was last week before the Black Friday sale. So there's some things have no sales at all. But in any case, this Black Friday deal from Choice Magazine, they say, although retailer prices fluctuated during our investigation, overall Black Friday didn't offer the best deals. And they said, instead, we found cheaper or similarly priced options on various dates in the 6 months prior. And guys, don't forget, if you haven't muted yourself and you say something, then we can all hear it. So please remember to mute yourselves. But they were saying that instead they found cheaper or similarly priced options on various dates in the 6 months prior, up to 33% in some instances. So they're just saying you don't have to necessarily wait for Black Friday to get the best deal. They recommend checking the prices across a range of different retailers, as you can save as much as 33% in the same week. They also explained that sometimes you can get different colors. So there was some sort of a coffee machine, the Breville barista machine. They said they saw the red and salted licorice versions of this Barista Express on sale for Black Friday between $80 to $100 cheaper than the stainless steel model. So you do have to do a bit of research, but it's your money. Why give it away? I mean, the other thing is to always look for coupons. You know, there was my mother wanted to buy some collagen from a company called NutraViva, and they had the big, thing on their website. All websites at the moment, Black Friday sale, Black Friday sale. And let me just stop the showing for a sec. And they were talking about all these different Black Friday sales. And but when it comes to paying, there is a little box on most of those online order forms that says apply discount code. So I normally go back into Google and I type in the name of the company and I type in discount code. Now it's got to be, or coupon code. Now it's got to be said that most of the time these coupon codes won't work. They're out of date, they were for a special time, but often you'll see, there's half a dozen different coupon codes you can try. And for this NutraViva order that my mother made, we had a look and tried one code, didn't work, tried another code, 20% off. So 20% off already discounted Black Friday prices. We're very happy to pocket the discount. And, and sometimes these coupon codes are left on by accident, or the company doesn't realize that they still have the coupon on. So I guess in some instances, you might be taking advantage of a mistake that they've made. But, unless they cancel the order, they're most likely going to ship it to you and you've got it. So, definitely shop around because you really can save money. And of course, if you do need to buy something, everyone's talking about how inflation is coming in 2022 because of the trillions of dollars that governments have spent trying to pump up the economy with COVID. And more money in the system means more money chasing fewer goods with all the different shortages and delays. So if there is something that you are considering buying, now's especially good time to do it, because come Tuesday, a lot of these deals, and some of them are really good, 20s and 30% off. I mean, things like Officeworks will even Officeworks. I was trying to purchase a soundbar a couple of years ago, and I went to a website called, there's a couple of sites, let me just bring them up for you. There's one called Get Price and one called Static Ice. So let me just go to this getprice.com.au. So compare and find the best online deals in Australia on computers and electronics. So if I type in AirPods Pro, for example, which normally cost $399, you can see that there are prices ranging from $289 up to $399. Kogan's got them for $299, Dick Smith for $299, my deal for $289. And so that's one website. And you can see they've got all sorts of things, bicycle accessories, not just for computers, all sorts of various things there, men's pants and laptop bags, non-fiction books. So that's a good way to get a comparison. And the other one that I like to use, which is more for technology, is called staticice.com.au. So Static Ice is another gadgets at competitive prices. If I go in here and I type in AirPods Pro as well, just as an example, it'll come up. And so here there are some protective boxes, starts at $699. Obviously you won't get AirPods that cheaply, but in any case, definitely. And so filter price from, let's go from $250, right? So this will be from, so that avoids. So you can see here that this looks like a refurbished set for $279, So I went to this website, whether Static Ice or Get Price, and then I went to Officeworks, because Officeworks has a deal where they will match any price that is for an identically priced item in stock, that is in stock. They do want to see on the site that you show them if it's in stock, and then they'll beat the price by 5%. But what happened was I went into Officeworks, saw this soundbar, and I found a price online for about $100 less. And they looked at it and they said, okay, well, that's something in Victoria, you know, what does it cost to courier it to you? Now, normally you'd have to ring the company and find out, but on this particular product page, it said A, in stock, B, it said something like $15 flat rate delivery to anywhere in Australia. So they took the $100 cheaper price of this soundbar, added the $15 of courier that would have cost for it to be sent to me, then they matched that price and gave me 5% off. So I got a really good deal. And Officeworks is one of the few companies that is doing that. So, you know, Officeworks won't match a Costco price, for example. Certain items from Kogan, for example, are the identical item, but because they're an overseas model, they have a different serial number or model number. So they won't, you know, there's little loopholes where they won't match this or won't match that. But if you don't investigate it and have a look at it, you know, it's like if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So, and the other tip is that if you go into somewhere like a Harvey Norman and you see things, especially if they're slightly older, you just go up to one of the sales guys or girls sitting at their desk, not next to where they've got the tills, and especially if you're buying a couple of things, you just ask them outright, can you do a better deal? And normally they sit right down in front of the computer, they have a look on their screen to see what their buy price is and what they can sell it for. And it's amazing the number of times they'll give you a discount just because you asked. I mean, so if possible, try not to pay retail, because why give people money that if they're going to give you a discount? So that's worked for me many times. Now we have some chats here. Oh yes, there we go. People are happy to be here and see things and see other people. So that's good. So let me go back into my presentation. So in the UK, they're going to have a new law that will hit smartphone device makers with big fines for using default password. That's the headline from Engadget. And that's because when you buy these different smart home devices, I mean, it says here, most of us assume if a product is for sale, it's safe and secure, yet many are not, putting too many of us at risk of fraud and theft, says the UK Minister Julia Lopez. Our bill will put a firewall around everyday tech, from phones and thermostats to dishwashers, baby monitors and doorbells, and we'll see huge fines for those who fall foul of tough new security standards. And it's also that they're saying that over here that manufacturers must tell customers at the point of sale and keep them updated about the minimum time requirement for security patches and updates. And if the product doesn't come with any updates, because it's always annoying, you buy a device and there's no updates. And if there's ever any kind of problem with it, it'll never get fixed. They just expect you to buy another one. So if there are no updates ever planned, that fact must be disclosed. And they're saying that manufacturers must provide a public point of contact for security researchers so they can easily disclose flaws and bugs. And this is important because, you know, if you look for any router, I mean, it normally has some sort of a default password, and that default password is normally printed on manuals anywhere on the internet. Now, I have started to see over the past several years that the manufacturers of routers have started saying, look, you know, the first thing you've got to do is type in a new password. So we should hopefully start seeing manufacturers taking security a lot more seriously, because if we've got smart homes being, our homes being controlled by devices that are connected to the internet, the last thing you want is some hacker to come in and, you know, on a really hot day, turn your air conditioning from, you know, 18 up to 33, or turn your freezer to go off, or put the freezer from -20 up to, you know, -1, which will be very bad for a lot of the food that's meant to be kept much colder. So it's good to see that governments are regulating some of these manufacturers to demand better security standards for us, the consumers, you know, many of whom don't know that you're supposed to take this sort of stuff really seriously. So that is another good development. Usually developments from government are not so good, but that's not a bad one. We're happy to see that. Also, Big Brother is famous for peering into your homes, but this is a type of Big Brother that can tell you if someone else is trying to Big Brother on you. So future Chromebooks may alert you from 9 to 5 Google here when someone is snooping over your shoulder. So they're saying that this enables snooping detection will use something Google is calling a human presence sensor, and that's coming soon. And so the camera inside, it says it will notify you whenever there is a snooper looking over your shoulder. This can be enabled or disabled from the smart privacy section of your device settings. And here's a short video. Let me just stop that and make sure I've still got my sound turned on. So this is something we should see in future Chromebooks. It's not available yet, but apparently it's coming. So let's have a quick look.
Hello everyone. What you see here is a development board equipped with the Crosslink NX FPGA based on the new Lattice Nexus platform. The FPGA has been programmed to perform human presence detection and counting, which is a common AI use case found in many applications. As you can see, there is a bounding box around the upper half of my body indicating that my presence has been detected and my movements are tracked as well. Next, I would like to invite a couple of volunteers to stand in front of the camera. And you can see that all three of us have been detected and the count has been updated as well. So all this functionality is being implemented at half the power consumption and double the performance of the prior generation solution by utilizing the advanced architectural innovations of the Nexus platform, including the addition of the large RAM blocks and the faster fabric performance. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so that is just showing you how technology is getting more advanced. Now, personally, I used to use a thing called the 3M Privacy Shield, and I have this this one here is from Kensington, and this is designed for the MacBook Air, so it magnetizes up top. These magnets up top here, they connect to the top of my MacBook Air, but you can buy them for the Microsoft Surface, you can buy them for other devices, you can buy them for the big screens, handy in offices when people are wandering around. The way it works, it's a bit like a louver. You know, you've got bits of plastic that are like that, and you can, when you look through, you can see through it. But of course, if you have something like this and you look on the side, what do I see? I see I see my palms. I don't see straight through. So you can see here when I grab this, when I turn it sideways, it turns black. See, it turns black. And so these sorts of privacy shields have been out for many years. In fact, there's a very cool ad. I've probably shown some of you before, but let me show it to you again because it's always fun. one second. Let me just go back to my. So let me just type in YouTube 3M plain ad. And this was quite a little funny one. So yeah, this was from January 2016, but I think it's from many years before that because it's here we go.
Keep wandering eyes off your laptop. Reassuring, removable 3M privacy filters. Now you see it, now they don't. Find yours at 3mprivacyfilter.com.
Yes, I'm not sure whether the AI detection can detect people. Hang on one sec. Sorry. Hang on.
I-9940.
Oh God, there's an old-fashioned computer. Okay, one sec. Let me just stop sharing. So yeah, I don't know if the AI filter is going to see somebody directly on your side. You know, it just depends how wide field the camera is. But people have been taking their privacy seriously for a long time, and I've had people come up to me, you know, and say, "What are you doing? What are you typing on a blank screen for?" And then I pull this thing off and I show them, and they're like, "Oh." They didn't know such a thing existed. So you know, look, it's probably less of a concern if you're just at home, but if you are sitting in a coffee shop and you don't want someone looking over your shoulder whilst you're doing some work, then those things are available. Okay, so what's next? We're already at 1:30, so we're powering through here. So one sec. Now the next thing I wanted to show you was, let me just close some of these things off here. Close this. Was D-Link has this some new Wi-Fi adapters, and they've got a new mesh Wi-Fi. So let's just quickly watch this video here.
Slow streaming and dropped calls? We've got the perfect solution. No, not that. This, the AX1800 Wi-Fi 6 USB adapter. The world's first USB adapter that instantly...
Now you can even see it's got WPA3 encryption because you had WPA, WPA2, and WPA3 is the new one inside of your router that sends the Wi-Fi to your house. Obviously, your devices need to be compatible with WPA3, but most new notebooks and phones, in fact, all new notebooks and phones should be. It's got a high level of security. So
it upgrades any laptop or PC to blazing fast next generation Wi-Fi 6. Get up to speed with the DWA X1850 by D-Link.
So what that does is, let me just click on videos here. What it does is it gives your Wi-Fi an upgrade. You can upgrade older computers that don't have the Wi-Fi 6 chip inside, and you will need a router that does have Wi-Fi 6. There is plenty of routers now that offer this thing called Wi-Fi 6. This is one that I haven't opened up yet from Aero. Let me just stop there so you can see. I keep forgetting that. So this is one from Amazon. It's called the Aero, right? And it was such a good Wi-Fi system that it was so easy to set up that Amazon ended up buying it. And just today, I received from D-Link a bag with the new mesh Wi-Fi router for them to install. Now, just in short, mesh, normally when you have a router, you just have one box. And that box is meant to stretch all the way across the house to the back, to the front, and to the backyard and the front to give you Wi-Fi. But anyone who's ever had a Wi-Fi home broadband router over the past 20 years or 15 years or 10 years knows that there are black spots in the house. There are some places where it's just not as good. You know, if you come right next to the router, it's great. But if you're in a different bedroom, you know, the streaming might be slower. It might not be connecting as efficiently as it can. And so the way that this has been overcome is to have mesh networks. Now, I heard about mesh networks for over a decade before you could finally buy them in stores. And now they're very, very common. So here is this D-Link one. I'm going to open it, just quickly rip it open to quickly show you. And give me a sec here. It's a live unboxing. I'm not going to have time to unbox the whole thing. I pack it well. So I'm not sure if they sent me I don't think they sent me the mesh Wi-Fi, the one that I was expecting. I think they just sent me a normal router, but let's just quickly see if they've got a video on their screen here. One sec, explaining the mesh Wi-Fi. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, so this is not the one I wanted to show, but let's just see what this one looks like anyway. So you can see that you can have a router with one access point. You can buy it with the router and 2 points, and you can also buy it with 3. And Telstra also has this. If you're a Telstra customer, they've got a smart home Wi-Fi. You can pay, I think, $12 per month for up to 4 adapters over 2 years, and it works with the router that they have. But these are a great way to upgrade the Wi-Fi in your home. And I use one myself, and I would never go back to a non-mesh system. Also come with parental control. So what they've sent me here is this. Let me just hit stop here on the stop sharing. So this is one of the new routers that they've got. You can see it's got 1 million antennas on the back. Well, it's got 3 or 4 big antennas. And this particular one is a Wi-Fi 6 router. And this here in this box is the adapter we just saw the video for. So you could easily upgrade the Wi-Fi on your home so that your devices can get faster connections, more stable connections. And if you've had your router for 5 or 10 years, it's a good idea to consider upgrading it, because you're probably using devices that are newer than your home Wi-Fi and system, and you could be getting a better connection. One of the things the NBN was doing when we went through the first lockdown in March 2020 was putting into stores these big ads on those giant TV screens that used to just have static ads to tell people, hey, if you've hidden your Wi-Fi router in a drawer or, somewhere that is not sort of out in the open where it can get the best signal, you're not going to be getting the best signal for working from home, learning from home, watching streaming media. So definitely consider getting a new Wi-Fi if you're having some issues with yours or you've got black spots, and get the help from your local club if you need it. So let's keep going. One sec, let me just close that. Secure by design. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to show you was the new MacBook Pro 16-inch. And also MacBook Pro Reddit. So the new 16-inch MacBook, I've got it here, and these start at $2,999 for the 14-inch version. This is the 16-inch model, so it is huge. The screen is huge. There's actually a little notch up top here, because if you look on my older Mac, this black bar at the top here, that black, there's a little notch there, but that black represents the amount of black at the top of the screen that is not screen. It's just part of the bezel. But here you can see the bezel is really, really tiny. And what they did was they stretched the screen. So the up top here would have just been black. But so they've made that screen where you can have a menu, and in the middle they have a 1080p camera. So it's an upgraded webcam. And they've got the M1 Pro or the M1 Max chip, which are super fast for any kind of digital content creation, but also just browsing the web using Google or Firefox or doing anything. And this particular machine has 21 hours of battery life if you're doing things like watching videos, and you get 15 hours if you're just doing regular everyday stuff. And I read somebody else who was testing one of these machines out, and they got about 10 hours, although obviously it'll fluctuate. But they said that 10 hours they got as a minimum was very reliable, and it was double the amount of battery life they got from their 16-inch model that used the Intel processor before. And one of the things Apple has done is listen to its users. They wanted the full-size keys at the top of at the top back, those function keys. On a normal Mac, they're half the size. So they took away the touch bar. They still maintain the Touch ID, which is extremely handy. But they put ports back. So over here, you can see an SD card slot, a Thunderbolt 4 and USB-C slot, and a full-size HDMI port. And on this side, we have a headphone and microphone jack, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and also a new thing called the return of MagSafe. So this is the charger that comes with this particular new Mac. And in this end, it plugs in via USB-C. But this is using a new USB-C standard that can enable super fast charging. And on this side is the MagSafe adapter. So if I grab this computer here and I plug the MagSafe adapter in, it's strong enough that I could in theory drag it across the table slowly. But if somebody trips over that cable, it just comes straight off. So it just flicks off. But you can also hear that it magnetizes quite strongly. Sorry, I'm going to look at it. I don't have to look, I can feel for it. But anyway, it magnetizes in there very strongly. Yet the slightest pull and it comes straight off. So that's a feature that Apple popularized, for 10 or so years, and then they got rid of it, but they finally brought it back. And most people would use one of their Thunderbolt ports to charge their computer and not use it for anything else. Even though if you buy one of these adapters, this is called a dongle. It's got USB-C on that end, and then over here I've got network over here, and I've got SD card slot, 2 USB 3s, and a full-size HDMI. And this USB-C slot here is actually pass-through power. So some people don't actually use that. So although it's only got 3 USB-C or Thunderbolt 4 ports, most people would have been using one anyway to power. So this is a beast of a machine, very fast. I've only got it for a short while. I'm getting it to review. If you're a content creator, the people from Reddit were saying, let's have a look here, that although it costs more on this particular one with 32 gig of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD is over $4,000. I'll just stop that over here. People say, oh, it's expensive. Well, Asus, which makes and by the way, this thing does have fans. The MacBook M1 that I'm using to talk to you right now has no fans. Now, I don't know how many of you are watching on Zoom on a PC. They've got the fan spinning up at the moment, but it's quite common. But on a Mac, especially on the newest Macs, on the Intel-based Macs, the fan would spin up too. It was very annoying to have to hear that. But on the new Macs, you have to really push them hard. And nothing that I've done, including exporting the 6-hour ASCCA video, caused this, which took 2.5 hours. Because I wasn't using the iMovie, which would have sped that up tremendously. But the fan didn't start once. And if I use Camtasia on my Windows PC to edit videos and then export it, the fan just starts up, within a minute or two, and can get quite loud. So I was very impressed by, even though this thing does have vents down there for the two fans that are inside, you really have to be a super extreme user to be able to get them to spin. And the reason why they've got the fans in there is because in 2 or 3 years or 4 years, when they have the M3 and the M4 processor, the Apple normally when you are running a PC, the fans are spinning hard because you're doing, well, even if you just got a few tabs open in Chrome, but you're doing stuff. And you can't really make the fans spin any faster because they're already going full bore, and they would be even louder. But with these Mac designs, apparently there's no real, the only limit to how fast the chip can go is how much you can keep it cool. So I think those fans are in there for the future, for in 2 or 3 years when, the newest computers are running a 2nd or 3rd generation M1 chip with more power. Your older machine will be able to keep up on some of those more intensive tasks by turning the fans on and keeping the chip cool. Meanwhile, you've got the PC side. So there's been a lot of innovation in the Mac side, truly amazing stuff that has surprised people. And I was saying before, the people from Reddit, which is an online forum, they were saying that they're buying their workers machines because for their engineers, it's $150 an hour they have to pay. And they can save a lot of money by buying they were saying that the average time to export and render or get an Android app that they're working on to sort of finish its processing and be ready to test is something like 45 minutes. And on the MacBook Pro with the M1 processor, that was cut to less than half the time. So that's a lot of time saved for a developer. We want to get to an era where our computers are waiting for us, not that we are waiting for the computer to be ready. So the PC guys have tried as hard as they can to innovate. This is something called the Vivobook, which is the entry-level machine from Asus, and it's worth $1,500. Comes with an AMD Ryzen processor. You can see all the various ports. That's USB 3. Over here, you've got the USB-C and a micro SD card slot, and you've got HDMI and another USB over here. And it's got little cute things like they put like on the enter key when you're in a movie and you go snap, and it's got those lines on it. They've tried to make this sort of cool. And one of the things they have on here, I can't show it to you. I'll show you a video in a second. But there's a virtual click wheel right here that lights up, and you can spin your finger around it. I'll just show you a video where that explain what that does. But on the Windows PCs, instead of telling us how the fan will never spin on or hardly ever turn on, or offer machines that have no fans at all, which is what Apple does, those guys, the Windows guys will actually go to great length to tell you how they've done massive upgrades to the fan system to keep it cool, which is, so let me quickly show you what I mean by that. And it's 1:45. So let me just come back to this video here. Let me click on play on this video here. I'm going to fast forward it. Give me a few seconds. We're nearly there. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so here we go.
Asus creator. Firstly, is the famous Asus style. Let's have a look at the video first.
Asus Style Pad is a completely new feature on selected Asus Creator laptops that lets you interact with creative apps in the most natural and immersive way possible. Asus Style Pad is a virtual version of Asus Style, the physical rotary controller on StudioBook laptops.
Now, so that particular Studio Pro, which I'll tell you about in a second, it's got a physical dial above the trackpad, but the cheaper models don't have the physical dial, they have a virtual dial.
Asus Style Pad is available on Vivobook Pro 14X and 16X laptops, and it gives you precise and intuitive parameter control in creative apps such as Adobe Photoshop. With Asus Style Pad, you can easily change brush size, change saturation, adjust layer opacity, rapidly undo actions, and much more.
So as you can
so the video goes on for longer, but there's also another video that they're showing about how the computers are quite amazing with their, so here we go. Look, check this one out here. 16-inch OLED display. There's the physical dial. Okay, so as I was saying, people think that the MacBook Pros are expensive, starting at $2,999. The one I showed you there was $4,700 or $4,500. That ProArt Studio book you just saw with a top-of-the-line NVIDIA graphics processor and something called an Intel Xeon processor. That Xeon is designed for data centers and super advanced workstations. That computer you saw starts at $9,999, and that starts at. So the market for creators and creative machines and machines that can give you the maximum amount of power is very, very high, and there's a huge market out there, and there's going to be a lot of competition between the PC and Windows space, but I think a lot of people are going to go for those Macs because they're just a superior system. And one thing about the Macs, if you've ever used a Windows PC and try and use it in power mode when it's on battery, the performance slows right down. But on the MacBook Pros and the MacBooks, on the new ones, on the M1 chip, you get the full power. So whether you're on battery or you're not on battery, the machine is running at maximum speed. And the battery life that they're telling us about is for battery life at maximum performance, which is quite revolutionary. So we're running low on time here, so let me just go back into my share screen. Got a few more things to show you. Google is investing $1 billion in Australia with a Digital Future Initiative over the next, I think, 5 years. There was a big there was a big song and dance about it. I've got a whole video here you can watch. Went for about an hour or 40 minutes with explaining this whole thing. Scott Morrison was there talking about stuff. So definitely, if you're interested in that, just type in ITWire, Google 1 billion, and you'll find that. You'll find that online. The Verge has an interesting article about how a toaster from 1949 is still smarter than any sold today. It really, the old stuff really was built to last. You can look for that. But it says here, in 1948, Sunbeam engineer Ludwig J. Cosi invented the perfect toaster, one where the simple act of placing the slice into one of its two slots would result in a delicious piece of toasted bread. No button, no lever, no other input required. Drop bread, get toast. Now, let me just quickly see who's texting me here and for what reason. Who is it? Hello. What? Oh, Black Friday breast deal. Yeah, I'm getting ads on my phone for Black Friday. So don't forget, you can use Live Listen on your AirPods to hear conversations around you. But if you do have AirPod Pros, you can switch on the conversation boost mode. Very handy for seniors that don't want to spend thousands or up to $10,000 on a pair of hearing aids. I know people that are using the conversation boost as opposed to getting hearing aids, and they're very happy about it. This article from ITWire, if you just have ITWire AirPods Pro Conversation Boost into Google, you'll find this article, and I've got step-by-step instructions on how to switch that on. And there's also an app that allows you to make something called an audiogram, where it's listening, it's to how well your ears can hear when you have both sets of AirPods in a quiet room, and it can improve the conversation boost further. Definitely worth having a look at that. I was going to show you that the new Apple Watch Series 7 definitely has a bigger and nicer display than the previous ones. And I was just going to show this to you here. You can, if I stop screen sharing here, 1 second. Let me just turn this, hang on. so this one here is the bigger one. This one here is the smaller one, and that little bit of screen size. This one's definitely bigger, and I've had every Apple Watch since the beginning, and I'm loving this massive display. But also, you've got the watch from Samsung, and at the moment you can find a lot of these digital watches at good prices. But this has got a round display, and so it's just a different methodology. Apple's got the digital crown that you can spin, and here they've got the bezel that you can spin. You can run all sorts of cool apps on this. So if you're an Android person, this is the first watch that has Google Wear OS 3, the most advanced version of Google's smartwatch operating system. This one has jumped up the charts. It's been very popular over the past few months since it launched, but Apple's smartwatch is still number one, but they'll be very, very popular too. If you haven't got a smartwatch, definitely consider getting one. A lot of them have fall detection. If you fall, they'll just ring 000 for you. Some gentleman earlier this year fell off his ladder at his house. The neighbors saw it and trying to help him, but as he was laying there was a sound coming from his watch saying, "This is 000, can we help you?" And an ambulance was on the way before the neighbors could even call. So that's on the Apple Watch series, and I definitely consider getting one of those if you're older and you want that sort of protection. Are there any questions before we finish for the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Ask away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
It's Jane here.
Hi.
I'm just wondering about those AirPod Pros for boosting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Do they also boost the background noise, or do they pick up voices? Because as you get older, I think that's the reason, because I've noticed I'm getting a bit older.
Mm-hmm.
You pick up all the background noises more than you do the actual conversations, and the movies seem to make all that sort of stuff louder than it ever used to be, or else it's my problem. And I just wonder whether it would boost the conversation or boost everything.
Let's watch this video very briefly and find out. It's only going to be a minute. It says 3 minutes.
AirPods have helped us enjoy music like never before. And they've helped us stay connected in so many different ways, whether to friends and family, to our devices, or to our favorite entertainment. With iOS 15, we have some great new features coming to AirPods. Starting with Conversation Boost, which is designed to help people with mild hearing challenges stay more connected in conversations. Through computational audio and beamforming microphones, Conversation Boost focuses your AirPods Pro on the person talking in front of you, making it easier to hear and follow along in a face-to-face conversation. And to help you hear the conversation even better, you can also reduce the amount of ambient noise. Next,
Okay, so yes, the AirPods are very customizable as to what they will pick up, what they will hear. You can boost certain things, turn certain things down. It's very important to use that free Audiogram app to further fine-tune your ability to hear. And if you buy something from Apple directly, you got 14 days, no questions asked to return it. So buy a pair. If you buy it from Apple during this Black Friday deal, that will give you a $105 gift card. So their price is $399. Apple doesn't do discounts, but they give gift cards out. And the $105 gift card for buying AirPod Pros basically matches the discount you get from Kogan or somebody else. And if you order it from Apple online, during this Black Friday period, you'll get that. I don't know if you have to give the card back if you return it, but you definitely can fine tune the conversation boost, much like you can fine tune that same sort of thing on the advanced hearing aids of today. So does that answer the question?
Yep. Thank you.
Sure.
Alex, on that same note, what was the name of the, you said tune in or log into something to...
Okay, so to find, I mean, if you just type, one sec, let me just close that. If you just type in IT Wire Conversation Boost.
Okay, so
ITWIRE.
you get to do something.
Oh, okay. So the very first result there is this. What I'm saying is so if you're talking about conversation boost, if you look at the steps down here, I've got step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now, and it's actually 17 steps. Some people have said, there's a shorter way of doing it, but if you follow my way, it'll work. And in here, there's an app called, if I click on this link for this app, you can download this app for free. And this will work on iPhone 6S or above. The AirPods Pro, you don't need a brand new iPhone for it to work. It's called the Mimi Hearing Test. So you download this free app. Have you ever wondered how well you hear? Test your hearing, view your hearing results in detail, track your hearing over time. You can export that as a PDF, import it into the conversation boost, and it works. And we've got 3 minutes to go before we're going to end. Are there any other
I
questions?
sent you a chat saying that's Barry's Christmas present. He already knows.
Alex, it's Julie here. Alex,
hi, Julie.
Hi,
Julie.
Julie, I'm Apple's accessibility ambassador for seniors.
Yes.
Coming back to the AirPods, they do need the Pro.
Yes,
and they
needs
do
to be
need
Pro.
they need a phone that will go up to the iOS 15.
Yes, which is the 6S or above.
Yes,
6S or
so
above,
that's a necessity for them to do it, and they'll find all the settings in the accessibility. You can go into settings and scroll down the left-hand side, and you'll see accessibility, and you follow that through. But you do need to have an Apple device to go with the Apple AirPods, and the same with the watch. You need an Apple phone to go with the Apple Watch.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, the Apple Watches, most Apple stuff only works with Apple, although the Bluetooth headphones will work with any device, but the conversation boost is specific to iOS 15. And if you've got an older iPhone 6S or above, and if you're on an older Android phone, consider upgrading to an iPhone. You can buy them new relatively inexpensively, but even Dick Smith or Kogan, which is the same company these days, I purchased for my mother an iPhone 8 64 gig refurbished at tax time with 5% off special. It was $234. Amazing. It's better to get that older iPhone than some brand new Android in some instances, because you'll get a better
Alex
experience.
is frozen.
I agree.
Am I? Yeah. Sure. Well, look, it's 1:59. I want to respect those who need to go, and I've got a million things to do too. So is there any last minute question?
How much are those privacy screens?
They're $50, $60 thereabouts. I mean, just type in, this is Kensington Privacy Screen, type in 3M Privacy Screen into Google. You can buy them at Officeworks. They're probably cheaper ones on places like eBay now. But you really want to buy one that is custom designed for your screen. Otherwise, you have bits hanging off or there's bits missing. So check online to see.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to make sure this video is up by this evening, so people, if you can let people know, they can watch it. And our next meeting is Friday, the 10th of December at probably we'll do 1 p.m. again, unless there's a major complaint, because it gives people in Western Australia a bit of extra time. But Friday, the 10th of December at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I'll see you all then.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya.